We're rolling.
It's going to be a very interesting video. Everybody besides me is dressed in multiple the idiot in the fire costume. Yeah, that's my thing. Fire Give me all your money. I want your lunch. I'll wear the pirate costume.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. All right, thank you guys for coming here today. So we wanted to go ahead and introduce ourselves. My name is Sarah.
I'm Jackson.
I'm Eva.
And I'm Angela.
And today we're going to take you guys on a hike, and we're going to kind of look at what different habitats are and what makes up a habitat. So I want you guys to think about your own house. Everybody think about your house. What makes your house really comfortable for you to live in? What kind of things?
It's warm.
It's warm. What else?
A bed.
A bed.
Lots of food.
Lots of food. What else? Anything else? A couch. So you guys have a lot of places where you can lay down and sleep at night. You guys aren't worried about being too cold. It's nice and warm and cozy. You have plenty of food to eat. What about water? Drink different things. Maybe tea, other stuff that you guys like. Is there anything else that you guys can think of that make your house like your favorite place to kind of go home and cuddle up in? What else?
My dog.
Your dog. So we have our friends there too. So you guys, your house is your habitat. And there are a lot of things that you guys just touched on that make up a habitat. So there are 4 things. Does anybody already happen to know the 4 things that make up a habitat? Yes.
Shelter.
Shelter. What else? So there's shelter, food,
Water.
water, and there's one more. This is usually the trickiest one. The last one is going to be space. So the 4 things that make up a habitat are going to be food, shelter, water, and space. So you guys, whenever you go home, you have all this space for you to lay down. You know, you have all this space for you to run around if you have a backyard, so your dog can run around when you have a backyard. You guys have shelter, you're under your roof. You're not worried if it rains, you guys are going to get wet. You guys need to stay inside and stay warm and cozy. You have plenty of food, and then you have water and other things to drink at your house. You guys have all your needs taken care of when you're home. So today, we're going to go on a hike with you guys today, and we're going to show you all of our little critters that we have brought with us, and we're going to think about what makes their habitat work for them. And so we're going to compare that with you guys, and we're going to go just talk about all that and look at all of our little creatures and see what each one of them has that makes them special and all of their homes that make them special. So before we do that, everybody at your table, if you guys will all look, you all have a clipboard with a salmon-y kind of colored paper, and you guys have plenty of markers. So as a group, we're going to give you a few minutes, and we want you guys to kind of draw what you think that when we go on our hike, what do you think that we're going to find? What do you expect to see out there that would make a good habitat for some of our critters? I'm going to give you guys about 5 minutes probably. So go ahead and draw these pictures. You can add as much or as little as you want, whatever you think you should add on there to make this the best habitat.
Here you go.
Good.
Depends on
All right, there we go. There we go.
We drew some space. There's a human. The water's in the sky, but it's okay.
All right. Cool. Good, good.
You gotta have animals. There's gotta be something in it.
Okay. Bird.
This is upside down, so I can't really tell what it looks
Oh,
like.
that's great.
I remember the art skills of this group with that turtle. Was that Bay? Did you draw that turtle weeks ago? I remember that.
It was.
I remember
Look at our
that.
group for pigs.
Oh, this is
It's okay.
it's gorgeous.
There you go. There we go.
Happy little frog. That's a happy little frog turtle. He's a happy little turtle frog. Every little turtle frog needs a friend. He's got a nice large frog. It's not my fault I'm in pirate costume.
I can draw others out of the first layer of my nose.
That's fine.
We had to,
Actually, I'm gonna draw Pegasus.
we had to do that in a art class that I was in middle school, where we had to draw something out of the first letter of our name. And so I made
So I'm actually going to label this to my leg. Because they're actually so big, they just fall straight. Even though they're elastic. Like they try to hold on, but they're like so heavy, they're just like,
Alright guys, are we about finished? About finished, yeah, almost. Alright, so in our habitats and in our drawings, what are some things that we put in there that would be good for our critters? If you'd like to share. Show us your drawing. Yeah?
We put the sun.
You put the sun, that's good. It keeps everything warm. Anything else? Yeah?
We put a waterfall.
A waterfall, that's nice. There could be fish in the water or salamanders. Is there anything else? That's all. Does anyone like to show us their drawings? We'll share it with the class. All right. Oh, you ready to show yours? Oh,
look at that. They did a really, like,
It's a
really
Pegasus.
well. I love the collaboration here,
It's not a
guys.
unicorn.
Everybody got the chance to draw something. That's really nice. Look at
You have
that.
to
We
use
got
your
the sun
imagination.
going on here, a little fishy, a little turtle frog up here, you know. Real nice. He has little friends. His friends Gary the fish down there, you know. And the moon bird, for those of you. Good job, guys.
Do you want to show you?
Yes.
Yes, why not? So we all kind of did the same thing, where we all had different little parts that we did. We got a turtle, we got a strawberry, there were some trees, some mushrooms and other bugs, and we got a river and our mountains. So
that's nice. The mountains could make a good habitat. It's probably a bit cooler up on the top. Different animals living there. All right. Now, if you would all like to come up quietly and in order and sit up in the front, and we'll introduce you our first critters.
And we're going to make a little circle here, guys. You want to come on up?
and remember, we're going on a walk in the woods. So you need that much.
Good, good. Good point. Getting them ready.
All right, guys. So we're starting our walk off in the woods. We're really starting to, start moving off into the woods. And we're going to see some of our friends today. So one of the things I want you guys to do is, if at any point in time you're nervous to see one of our friends, all I need you guys to do is just sit on your hands, okay? And we'll know if we're coming around with our critters not to bring them too close to you, okay? Can everybody do that for me?
Yes.
Alright, so just sit on your hands if you get a little nervous, alright? So, our next friend that's going to be coming out is Miss Sandy, and she is a western hognose snake. So she's got a little bit of a neat little nose. So as everybody takes a look at that when we bring her around, and Miss Sarah is going to talk to you guys about her.
Alright, you guys, so like Jackson said, this is Sandy, and she is a western hognose snake. And again, if you at any point feel uncomfortable, just sit on your hands. I'll make sure I do your comfortable, okay? So she is actually, you guys can kind of guess why she's called hognose. If you guys look at her, anybody tell me why you think why she's called a hognose? Just turn it away, she has to show you. What do you guys think?
She looks like a
She looks like a hog. Yeah, so if you guys look at her little nose, it's kind of turned up, kind of like a pig's nose. So she doesn't snort or anything like that. But she actually has this little nose because it helps her kind of root around in the sand and in the soil so she can find her prey. Now, hognose snakes actually really like to eat amphibians, so they really like frogs and toads. And so she uses her little nose to kind of track them down and move the soil around and kind of figure out where they are. And so can you guys look at her beautiful scales and her colors. Can you tell me why this might help her in her habitat and her colors and things like that? She can blend in, that's right. So if you guys are walking along our pretty trail, do you guys think that you would see her all of a sudden, or do you think she'd stay hidden pretty well? She'd stay hidden, that's right. So Sandy's more interested in finding her frogs and her toads than she is in finding any of us. Not that she doesn't like us, she just, she doesn't really care. And so one thing that's actually really cool about these guys, actually kind of funny. So some people actually call them puff outers. And so whenever she gets kind of scared, and especially with like certain males, young males, they try to really kind of act really tough. And so they'll actually kind of puff out their skin and flatten out a little bit, and they think it makes them look like a cobra. And so they try to act really scary, but in reality they're not going to do anything. They actually never really strike to bite. And so if their puffing out doesn't work and they don't scare you off enough, they'll actually play dead. So hognose snakes really aren't very scary at all, and anything they're more afraid of you than you are of them. And so one thing that's actually really cool, like I said before, she likes to eat a lot of toads and amphibians. And so whenever she goes forward and she's going to go eat them, she actually doesn't have any teeth in the front of her mouth. She has actually two fangs that stay in the back. And what they do is they work to deflate toads. Whenever you go to bite them, toads like to kind of puff up so you can't fit in their mouth. But she has two teeth in the back of her mouth that help her kind of deflate those guys so she can actually eat them. So now, whenever we're talking about her habitat and things, like we said, so what food? What kind of food would she like to eat? Toads, that's right. And so obviously you know that they need their water. And so with her shelter and her space, you can find her in a lot of like loose sandy soil. She really likes to be in kind of areas with not very much vegetation, so she can kind of move around and move things. And so those are the kind of things that would make Sandy very happy in her home. Now I want to ask, is there anybody that would like to touch Sandy before we put her away and bring out another friend? Yes. All right, you guys. I'm going to go ahead and keep your hands up. I'm going to go ahead and bring her around for you. So you guys just put out 2 fingers for me. You guys can put down her scales. You guys can feel her.
Another way Sandy likes to use her upturned nose is to burrow into sandy soils, because these guys don't really like the cold that much. So as summer turns to fall and winter, they will hibernate through the months of like October through the winter until around like March or April.
She actually likes to try to burrow into my sweater if you want to.
She actually likes the warm.
And if you guys want to touch it too.
Does anyone have any
Good
questions
job.
about Sandy?
Good handling.
Or comments about Sandy?
She only found
So no, actually hognose snake. So she's actually technically a western hognose snake. We'll get eastern and western. And so these hognose snakes are actually found all the way up through Canada, all throughout the United States, and down into Mexico. So she has a pretty wide range. But yeah, you can see she's just kind of, she's like, I'm done. I'm standing out. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and bring out our next critter. And now the next critter that you're going to meet is very different than Sandy. So So this is actually, we're going to meet our friend who is Sheldon the box turtle. And now box turtles are actually going to have a very different habitat than somebody like Sandy. Does anybody know anything about box turtles? Or turtles in general? What do you guys think that they like to live in?
Water.
Water? Yeah, so you can definitely think turtles would definitely want to stay near water. And so we actually have Sheldon right here for you.
So everybody wants to say hi to Mr. Sheldon. This is Mr. Sheldon. He's saying hi to you guys. He's kind of doing his swimming thing around in the air here. So Mr. Sheldon, like Sarah said, is an eastern box turtle. Now the cool thing about eastern box turtles is they're actually the state reptile for both North Carolina and Tennessee. But their range is so much bigger than that. These guys can actually be found all the way up in the northern peninsula of northern Michigan and all the way up in Maine. So they go all the way from Kansas, all the way over here to North Carolina and Georgia, from South Florida all the way up into Michigan. So they have a really huge range. And these guys have this really cool coloration here on their shells. So if everyone wants to kind of take a look at that, that helps them also stay camouflaged when they're moving around in their habitat. Now, what do you guys think these guys like to eat? Can anyone take a guess?
Strawberries.
Strawberries? Yeah, you guys have probably seen some pictures on the internet of turtles going, nom, it's strawberries, right? Well, these guys are actually what's called opportunistic omnivores. So, opportunistic omnivore means they will literally eat anything that they can find. They don't care if it's a worm, if it's a strawberry, if it's a mushroom, or if you guys have ever seen tomato gardens with little tiny triangles just kind of taken out of them. Those are where little box turtles just roll up to it and go, ooh, look, a tomato, nom, and take a big old bite out of it. So they really don't care where they find their food at. They just like having it. So one of the cool things we're going to do with Mr. Sheldon here is we're actually going to see if Mr. Sheldon wants to eat some lunch with you guys, all right? So, we're going to bring the Sheldon lunch over here. And I'm actually going to set Mr. Sheldon down and see if Mr. Sheldon wants to go today. All right, well, he doesn't appear to want to eat the worms. Maybe he doesn't notice them yet. So we're going to pick one up right here with the tweezers and see if he wants to eat them. You want that, Mr. Sheldon? Nope. Dropped it. No, not your thing. He's a bit shy in front of crowds sometimes. We've got a worm trying to escape over here, guys. All right, let's see. Set him down one more time, see if he notices him now. Oh. He might.
Thinking about it.
Oh. Ooh. All right.
It's like that.
All right. So one of the reasons that Mr. Sheldon here is called a box turtle is that he has this little hinge down here on the bottom part of his shell that when he gets scared or somebody comes up to him, he'll actually close up his shell and pull his head and his legs inside of it, and it kind of closes up like a little hinge, like a little box.
Tastes good though.
Does that taste good, buddy? Apparently he didn't like the taste of that worm, but maybe he did. So that's Mr. Sheldon, you know, eating lunch with you guys.
So what do you guys think that Sheldon is looking for in the habitat? Make it really nice.
Worms.
Worms, yeah.
Yeah, food.
Definitely
Good.
some food.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. He definitely likes it a little bit warmer, but I mean, he can live in colder temperatures too. They like to burrow into the ground, like little turtle burrows.
Is there anything else you guys can think of?
Finished off that worm, guys. Look at that. He ate lunch with you guys. Awesome. Good job, Mr. Sheldon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
He put it everything.
I love it.
All right.
box turtles in a group, or are they usually just hanging out by themselves?
That's a really good question. So, what do you guys think? Do you think turtles like to hang out by themselves, or are they more of a group animal?
I've seen a lot, well, I've seen not maybe box turtles, but I've seen turtles hang out on logs
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
So those are usually, those are sliding turtles, I believe, is what the term for them is.
Yeah, water turtle, yeah.
Those are actually what are called red-eared sliders. They're a little bit different from these guys, and they do hang out a little more socially. Box turtles will gather together occasionally, but not like in huge groups like that. They're pretty nomadic, so these guys also, like whenever you see them trying to cross the road, they really range around like a really narrow area their entire lives. So if there's a road running through it, what do you guys think you should do if you see one of these guys trying to cross the road?
Help him.
Help him, all right? Which side, if he's trying to cross from the left side to the right side, which side should you guys take him to? He's in the road. Yeah, the side he's going to, right? All right. Awesome.
Otherwise, he might just try to cross again. Be a second.
Well, we're going to let him finish off this worm here. And I think it's time for Mr. Sheldon to go back where he needs to go back to.
Yes, and one thing before we put Mr. Sheldon away, if you guys notice how pretty his shell is and how that might help him with his camouflage and his habitat, and one really important thing, whenever you're thinking about box turtles, sometimes people like to paint their shells, and you should never paint on a box turtle shell because it ruins their ability to have camouflage in their habitat, and they can't hide from predators anymore, okay? Oh, he's still going.
Yeah, he's still going. He was a very hungry boy. Also.
Well, we can put his plate in there.
Yeah,
In
we're
his
gonna
little
go ahead
hole
and pick
again,
him
so
up.
he can finish his lunch.
And he's
Take
gonna
it to
finish
go.
the rest of his
To go,
lunch over
Trey.
here, guys.
So, our next little guy is found. Our next little friend is found around this area that's on the screen. You can find them in streams around the springtime. It's not because that they always live in the water, it's actually because they lay their eggs in the water. This little guy here is a tiger salamander. His name is Sanford. He's got a little smile. Now Sanford, he actually likes temperatures that are relatively warm. Most of the time, he actually lives underground. So he's actually called a mole salamander. He's a type of mole salamander. And as I said, mole salamanders spend most of their time underground. So he'll go and he'll be under logs or rocks, or he'll go and he'll find a little burrow from where another animal's been, and he'll spend most of his time there. He does come out to lay his eggs. So mostly what tiger salamanders eat is they'll actually eat pretty much any animal they'll come across that can fit inside their big mouth. So that's why they're kind of called a tiger. That, and if you see, they actually have little stripes down their back, like a tiger. Tiger salamanders can also come in yellow, white, and then a red stripe marking here. He's kind of green, but they can come in different colors. The eastern tiger salamander actually ranges from New York all the way down to Florida, so they live like in a very large area. And so yeah, this little guy, he needs a high humidity, and he eats whenever what he eats, so that's his habitat. And then to help this little guy, what we do is if you see logs laying down, you're supposed to leave them alone. So I'm going to say something, and then you say it after me. We're going to say Lincoln logs help salamanders, toads, and frogs. Say it with me. Lincoln logs help salamanders, toads, and frogs. So help Sanford here next time you see him, or next time you see a log, and don't mess with them. You can actually link them together so you can have these little homes.
All right, you guys, thank you so much for going on our hike with us and meeting all of our critters. Now, before we finish up today, we really want to see what you guys think now about what we thought about habitats kind of before and versus what we kind of think about habitats now. Is there anything you guys want to change? So what we want to do is we want you guys to go back to your seats. If you guys will take that sheet of paper that you had earlier, you're just going to flip it over and draw another picture of everything that we talked about just now today. What else would you add to your habitat? We'll give you guys about another 5 minutes or so, and then we'll talk about it.
Okay, great. Just so y'all know, about 2 minutes until we get to 25 or so, about a little over, well, almost a minute. So from when I started, yeah. You guys are fine. Doing great. Doing great. I hope you don't have to take Dramamine when you watch this. I'm trying my best. Doing great.
Alright, you guys, while you guys are starting to work on your drawing, is there anything that anybody wants to go ahead and shout out that you might want to add to your picture?
Got some more ideas for your habitat here. I see you're drawing your nice little tree.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right.
We need some logs like laying around.
Yeah, shade definitely helps. A little bit of heat, a little bit of shade for everybody. It's always something good. Yeah, river. You gotta have a source of water for everybody, right? How's it going over here, guys? I see you guys are thinking pretty hard about your habitat over here. Yeah, water, that's really important for habitat.
That's That'd be looking like a picket fence.
That's what I thought they meant.
Awesome job, guys. Awesome.
Zigzag.
Don't love the leaf like that.
Is there anything you guys are adding?
Yeah, that's another on the weekend.
A salamander.
It's really awesome.
Which sort of linking were you teased?
That one right there, so they're all
Draw some words.
Hold on, we need some rocks. Oh, yeah.
Why would you make this a straight line?
Look, we got the logs down there, right there. That's cool. Great.
Same.
Great.
Those logs better?
What's coming over here, guys? Oh, that's a really nice little turtle right there.
Ah.
2 turtles, because every little turtle needs a friend, right? And that turtle only has 3 legs, so he's a little cool turtle.
Okay, everyone. I hope that was enough time to get some new ideas down on paper. Would anyone like to share their after drawing of the habitat? Or just new ideas that they thought of after seeing our presentation?
Sand. Why did you add sand?
So, Sandy can furrow.
There you go. Perfect.
Yeah.
Love it. I know this group over here, they added some logs and linked them together. They make a perfect home for Sanford.
Yeah, these guys did too.
This group, they had little worms and they drew worms for Sheldon.
Perfect. You guys, I'm sure all of your drawings would make a wonderful habitat for any of our critters. So we want to thank you again for coming on this hike with us. We hope that you had fun. And I hope that you guys can kind of think about the way our critters have their homes and their habitats and how that kind of relates to how you guys have your homes and all the things that you need. So we want to thank you again so much for being here with us today, and give yourself a hand for being so kind.
Yay! Woo!